Hello and welcome friends to my monthly wrap-up video. This video will be on all the books I read in April. I can't believe it's May already. We're almost halfway through the year. The day I'm filming this, it is a beautiful day in Chicago. The kind of day that we wait all winter to have. I have read some amazing books this year. Authors are just outdoing themselves with every book they release. So let's get to talking about all the books I read in April 2023. In the month of April, I read actually a few of my favorite authors, which I always love to get a new book by some of my favorite authors. And I started the month exactly that way with The Third Son by Diane Lane. I have a full review video up already on my channel. I will of course link it in the description box below. If you know, you know. The book is about Arian, Tanner, and Kellen. I can't give too much more than that because I don't want to spoil it. It's one of those books, it's best you just go in blind. If you know anything about Diane's books, you know that love and self-acceptance and found family is the basis of all of her stories. She writes some of my favorite characters and love stories, and The Third Son was exactly that. It's definitely different. There is not necessarily a twist, but a take, I guess would be the right word, about the town that Tanner and Kellen are from, which is Brookside, Wyoming. I'm just going to tell you, read the book and then go watch my video where I share my thoughts on the book, and wow, what a way to start the month. I followed that up with another Diane Lane story I was thrilled to read. It was part of the Babe anthology, charity anthology for that book signing. I believe with that there's two different anthologies. This book was or part of a book, was in the Billionaire Babes. I don't remember what the other one was. I know this one has a red cover and the other one had a blue cover. So Diane's story in it is called Whiteout, and it's just a little taste of a book that she will have coming out later this year or early next year. I can't remember. This book is about Sinjin and Brianna. The book starts, well, not a book. What do you call it? It's not even a novella because it's not complete. The story starts out with Brianna having to go visit who she finds out is a family member of hers that has recently died, if I remember correctly. And the book starts in a snowstorm. It's forced proximity. We just get a tease of the story. It is spicy as heck, but I hate snow. And I know I live someplace where we get snow, but I hate it. And you know what I hate worse than snow is driving in it. And the book starts and Brianna is driving in a snowstorm. And I was like, oh, I was stressed from the very beginning. She ends up at a diner because she needs to get off the road for a bit. And the man she's talking to says, basically, every snowstorm starts with just one snowflake. I was stressed. I absolutely cannot wait for the rest of this book. So stay tuned for more about Whiteout when the full book is released. And I wanted to mention, I do a lot of promotion also for many different authors. You know that I love supporting indie authors. So I'm constantly putting up posts with cover reveals, new releases, sales. So if you're not already following my social media, I would love to have you do so you can be aware of all the good stuff going on in the romance book loving community. I'm Kat Reads Romance on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and of course here on YouTube. Getting back to the Babe anthology, there was a few other authors in this portion of the anthology that I'm looking forward to going back and reading. Monica James was in this one. Elle Thorpe was in this one. D.L. Galley was in this one. And then an author I haven't read, but I really want to read, S. Massery, was also in this portion of the anthology. So I can't wait to go back and read their stories that are in there as well. After Whiteout, I went into Chasing Love Josh by Kelly Shandwick, who's also KL Shandwick. I was so freaking excited to be back with the Wild family and then to be reading Josh's book. It's book 7 in the Wild Romance saga. Each of the books in the Wild Romance saga are duets. We get one book from one character's perspective and only theirs, and then the other book, like their partner perspective. I have loved reading them this way. I was super excited to finally get Josh's story. Josh was kind of an enigma to me in the very beginning of the series. We definitely got more of him in Aaron and Ryder's books, so I could not wait to get his book. Oh, as usual, Kelly took his story someplace I completely had no idea we were going. Shocked, mouth open. Oh my gosh. I was like, say what now? We're doing what? I was heartbroken for Josh in a majority of this book, but that was nothing compared to when I read Lorna's book, which I just finished. That will be in my May video. I thought I was heartbroken in Josh's book. Oh, Lorna's book. Like deep breaths through Lorna's book. Let's get back to Josh. This is something he said about Lorna also. Josh really surprised me when he said this. Josh is a reformed playboy. He is charismatic, he is swoony, he is sexy. Oh my God, I freaking love the way Kelly writes. Not only her female characters, but I always love her male characters. I've done several videos on her books. I will include her playlist in the description box below so you can see all the books I've talked about already. This is what Josh said. Someone once told me you don't get to choose who you love. Love chooses you. Yet I sometimes wondered if that was true, or if I had tried hard enough to ignore the unavoidable pull I felt towards Lorna. Then I realized she was the only woman I'd ever truly wanted that I couldn't just have. He is used to having the world at his feet and any woman being there. And then there's Lorna. Oh, I just, whew. This duet probably made me the most emotional out of all the duets since Billy and Sawyer. There was just something about Josh and Lorna that just, like in my heart and soul. I will do a full video on their duet, so stay tuned for that. But another thing I really loved about Josh's book is it starts and he's in Chicago. I was like, oh, I love when I read books that take place here and that actually get it right. It's not a common occurrence. You can tell somebody didn't really do their research a lot of the times, unless it's a native Chicago author like Diane Lane. Kelly did a great job with her research, and I love the little nods to Chicago because Lorna lives in Chicago that were spread through Josh's and Lorna's book. Especially when I read the first couple pages of Josh's book and he's flying in his private jet to Chicago Executive Airport, which I live like 20 minutes from. I just loved it. After Chasing Love Josh, I read Heart of Thieves. The Heart of Thieves? The Heart of Thieves, I think it is. I'm looking down at my notebook, by Penn Wilder, which is a pen name for Ashley Kay. I've read all of Ashley's books to date. Heart of Thieves is a complete departure in that she's writing under a pen name and it's supposed to be a little bit darker romance. And this book was like one I haven't read. The plot, probably, I can't think of another book like this. So it was really refreshing to be in a totally different space. The book is about Rook and Josie. Rook is a cop in his 30s. Josie is a incredibly talented hacker, is becoming really well known in the hacker community. She's doing it legit for the most part. But what brings them together is a common cause. I don't want to give too much away, in that Rook is a detective with a very important personal case where the trail has gone cold. He ends up meeting Josie. They have a common interest, like I said, and she ends up helping him because in helping him, it also helps her. I really liked it. There were times where I wasn't getting that oomph factor that I needed between them. But that being said, I really liked it. And I liked that it was so different and something I hadn't read in a really long time, if ever. And the way Penn slash Ashley writes from Josie's perspective with the whole hacking thing, I found really interesting and kind of fun to read. I rounded out the end of the month with, again, one of my favorite authors. I'm so lucky I got to read 3 of my favorite authors in the month of April. The last book I read in April was Saving the Single Dad by Ashley Munoz. I will have a full video coming on this book as well very soon. But until then, oh my gosh, I could not wait to read Haley and Liam's story. I fell in love with Liam in Tempting the Neighbor. Liam is just a side character in that book, but I simply adored him. Liam is a single dad. He has 3 daughters right there, hook, line, and sinker. Jimmy is the single dad that I kind of hold all the other single dads up against. Like, you never forget your first, you know? And let me tell you, Liam is right there. Oh, I just loved him. Haley is the other character in this book. She is Colton from Tempting the Neighbor's sister, and Liam and Colson, right? Oh, geez. Why am I forgetting his name now? Let's just say Cole, because I know they called him Cole. How did I forget that? Anyway, Ashley, don't kill me. Cole and Liam are best friends, so there's that whole vibe going on. There's something about a dad and his kids. I adored Haley. There was so much to love about her and connect with. And we know because of Tempting the Neighbor, the books overlap a little bit, so we know where she is in her life. I thought Ashley did a great job walking that fine line of Haley stepping in organically and her relationship with Liam's girls and how they were with her, how Liam and Haley handled their relationship when it came to him being a dad and him being protective of his girls. I loved it. I think, and I've said this before, this is my favorite book of Ashley's so far. Ashley keeps surprising me with her books, and I just adore her writing so much, and I just loved Liam and Haley so much. So that's it. That is all the books that I read in the month of April. Have you read any of these books? I would love to know. Let me know in the comment section below. And if you haven't, at least you've got some good recommendations, but I would love to hear what your favorite book was that you read in April. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I'll see you very soon. Bye.